Hello and welcome to the channel again. On the bench today we've got a Vox AC 30 copper top chassis, and I've got this in for repair. There's a few things that don't work on it. The problem with this amp is I'm afraid someone's been at it, and I've had a bit of a look round, and I'm afraid old Billy Bodger's been in here. Closer inspection. So the first thing we're going to look at, you see all these caps have been changed, but if you just look where my finger is there, no, it's not switched on. I've got a valve seat there, and if we hone in, I don't know how close we can get with this camera before it goes out of focus. I shift my finger. You can see that looks like Harodite or some kind of epoxy that's been put on those two terminals on that valve seat. I'm going to go right in. It's just starting to go out of focus, I think, if it gets too close. Yeah, there. So that's telling me that that's a new valve seat, because if they've put that on there, it's because there's an intermittent fault and they're trying to stop that. The terminals, they've put that over the plates on that tube as well. Looks like pins, one and I don't know, there's two together, but one looks like the plate to me anyway. So that's the first thing that actually, when I started having a look around this, now the Vibratrem channel doesn't work. You can hear the tremolo pulsing, but the Vibratrem side, that doesn't work. So that's another problem. If we look, we can see some of these caps have been changed. Now we don't know whether they're the correct values. You can see that they've been put in quite willy-nilly, really. And said some plate resistors changed there by the look of it. They're plate resistors. Just a couple of caps up there, a couple of spragues that you can see. They're 8 microfarad, I think. Those have been changed. Are they the correct ones? Again, we need to check. I have downloaded a schematic for this amp. I've got to go through it all, and there's quite a lot of it as well. So this amp is early 60s. If I have to be honest, I don't know a great lot about Vox amps, and it's one of the few amps, I've never gigged, never used, never really used one. I don't know why. I've just never bothered. And that's not even because I dislike them either. It's just I don't know. I've just never used a Vox AC 30. And I have to say, I've never worked on one, as I probably have done years and years ago, but certainly not in the last few years. The original electrolytic is still in this amp. That'll be for some of the preamp stages, I would have thought. 1616 at 450 volts working. That's seen some life. I may change that. That's been in there a long time. 60 years getting on for, if not 60 years, because some of these were made in 1960, I think. It's had a replacement output transformer, which you can see there, which is a shame, but at least it's a proper replacement. It's not just something that's been tacked on, so that's at least something that's good. Right, so I've took the bottom board off, and we're now having a look at components and wiring under here. So you can see this new output transformer here with the new wiring, and it's been recapped. These look recent, and this one, that one has got a date of 23rd week of 1998. So this one has been put on here, sorry, You can see, and the problem, this is what happens, and already this has started to happen here. And you can see, if you look at that, as soon as you can tell by the feel of it. So this has never been fastened down, and what happens is it just moves around like that, and after a period of time, every time it's in a gig, it's been picked up, carried, put in a car, and already that's going there. And if you look that, you can see how close I can get in. That is already on its way out, and that's what happens. So eventually that might be, you know, somebody might be gigging that a couple of years, that is going to snap and come off. It's already weakened through constant movement, so that needs securing. That very burnt wire wound resistor there is a cathode resistor, and that is a cathode bypass cap. I've just realised what that is looking through the camera now. I've looked over the camera. So these amps are biased very hot, they're known for it, and with only a 50 ohm bias resistor, I'm guessing they're going to be biased, surely with that they're going to be biased fairly hot, but we can check that. So that needs attention. Now that wouldn't stop the amp working, it would just reduce its volume and change its tone, but that's on its way out, so that needs securing. That, rather than being siliconed in, has been epoxied in, which in my book is a no-no, because that's just going to be a nightmare to get that off. So look at that. That don't look very great soldering on that. Neither does that. Oh, sorry. It's not bad, I don't suppose. We could probably just put a bit more solder on that and flow it. It's had something, I don't know what, but it's covered in, looks like grease or something, and there's grease all over here. So again, looking through the camera, things you don't see, you're looking at that capacitor. Now I've looked over the camera, that, if we just hone around the side, you can see that capacitor there. If we just come back around here, that's been replaced with this one, but there's no terminals on there. First off, I thought they've tacked that on, but they haven't tacked it on. But what they have done is it's like they've snapped off the terminals and smoothed epoxy over it. That's bizarre. Why not just put a normal can cap in there without bodging it up like that? That's a mess. There's still like that. There's half the wires still on there. That's a right mess, that is. So we're going to have to sort that out. And look at this. Now I've spotted that over the camera. That is that a drop-in resistor? It is a drop-in resistor. It's leaning on the chassis. How on earth that's not shorted out? Look at that. That's leaning, and you can actually see where it's been rubbing there. That's a miracle that's not shorted out. A miracle. So that needs a definite coat of looking at. That's, I'm afraid, is not only bad workmanship, but that's also dangerous workmanship. So I think that's got to be, before we do anything now, that's got to be the first port of call. Do you know, I think the only reason that's not shorted out on the chassis is because there's so much gunk on there, it's actually insulated it. That's madness. So the more we look round this really, I'm doing this first part 1 video just to kind of assess this and see where we need to be going with it. Yeah, I keep seeing things, but course, if we look at the voltage selector, that's all crumbled away as well. That's looking very fragile. So that don't look great either. Must admit I didn't spot that straight away, but just now I'm starting to really delve in. So we're going to test all these tubes as well to see if they're all in good order. Original choke, original power transformer, but replacement output transformer. We've got electrolytics that need replacing. We've got a dangerous resistor there probing around and resting on the chassis, being insulated by gunk. Yes, we've got a floating capacitor there that's almost broke free, and that's what we've found so far. So quite a bit of work to do on this amp. Quite a bit. Yeah, looks like a blind man on a galloping horse has put that in, but we can straighten that up. You kind of get the impression that more than one person has worked on this amplifier. So here we've got a couple of spray capacitors in, good quality capacitors, properly fastened down, properly insulated there, look. And then you've got this, which has obviously been done a long time. I mean, that's probably been done a long time ago. These seem more recent, and are more recent, but then the person that put these in is no better than the person that put them in, even if they're 20 years apart, because the person who put that in must have saw that line there and thought, oh, that's dangerous. Obviously didn't. And then all this botch up here, this floating around here, so has been put on recently. So I would guess they're a recent repair by someone. That is an old repair, and those down there have been done by someone who does know what they're doing, because that is much better quality work. That's what that looks like to me. So there we are. It's a quick video really, just a quick assessment, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start repairing some of these problems that we've got. I'm just going to work my way through this slowly and get this amp right, because it deserves it. You know, it's not just some nondescript valve amp. You know, it's a Vox AC 30 and deserves a bit of love. And yeah, it's not the best example, but it's being botched, and I don't like to see amplifiers botched of this stature. So yeah, but we'll get it right. So I'm going to leave this video here. Thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe to the channel if you wish to do so, and I'll see you all in a future video. So you all take care. Bye bye for now.